Thus, you must realize that you have no idea before you can know the idea. We scan across all the frequencies if we want to learn anything new. Let us begin.
What has physics done for me lately?
Furthermore, the equation E is equal mc squared.
We have now acquired a fateful power to alter and to destroy nature.
That's like when you're in physics and you go to Dreamworld saying, oh, this is a physics excursion.
Science. What is it all about?
The whole of human history all falls in the dust of one stroke of the nail file. You can't really get to grips with evolution unless you realise what an enormous amount of time.
Our own planet is only a tiny part of the vast cosmic tapestry, a starry fabric of worlds yet untold.
You're tuned into what can only be described as the best radio station on this blue dot we call Earth. It is, of course, 4ZZZ, connecting and amplifying voices of our community. Be it on your conventional wireless radio by tuning into the classic frequency of 102.1 FM, digital devices such as DAB or smart speaker, listening via the Community Radio Plus app, or streaming us live from our sensational website at 4ZZZ.org.au. And of course, you can always listen back to us or any 4ZZZ show for that matter using the ingenious on-demand feature also found at that URL. We also now have a weekly podcast of the show for your listening pleasure, curated by Toby, a condensed version of the show without the music, which my mum prefers. Just search for our show name, which is, of course, No Idea, spelt with a K, your weekly dose of science. Then joining me today, hopefully we'll get Peta online soon. It's just me at the moment. Issy will be in as usual. For those who haven't listened to the show before, it is a science show. We usually kick it off with some weird science, then we move on to some marine science, and then a bit of MotoRap, and then basically just any science that we find fun and interesting to talk about. And then we end the show with some space news. We're going to hear some weird science now. What am I doing there? Let's do this. What do you got for us, Gabe?
Red wine always gives us the best advice, but it also leaves an ache in some of our heads. Not a hangover headache. Those headaches, are ones that we can all get if we drink enough of it. But some people, even with like one or two glasses, can come down within like half an hour with a pretty nasty headache. Does anyone get this?
Nah.
No.
I'm too strong for that.
Really?
Really
It's
buff,
quite
actually.
a lot of people. I don't think I've ever really met someone who's mentioned it, but I feel like if you had this, you'd just not drink red. It's been a bit of a mystery as to why it happens, but some American researchers from the University of California, which has a QS ranking of...
138.
19.
90.
118.
Oh.
Reckon they've cracked the case. It's the Davis campus. I don't know if that changes the ranking. They reckon they've cracked the case on why some people get headaches from red wine. Inside grapes is a natural substance, which I'm going to ruin the name of. Are we ready?
Yes.
Quercetin. Quercetin, which is produced by grapes in response to sunlight, and a lot of red wines, use grapes like Cabernet grapes, which deliberately get exposed to a lot of sunlight, apparently. This is clearly not my field, which means they get a lot of this substance in them, right? They build up even more of it for these reds.
Right.
The authors say, or one of the authors of this study says it can be up to 5 times higher than you get in other types of grapes. Usually, it's apparently a pretty normal thing to consume, maybe even be a little good for you. It's an antioxidant, but when your body gets it with alcohol, it forms something slightly different. I'm going to ruin the name even more now for this next version of the compound, which is quercetin glucuronide, which is a slightly different version of it that you get when your body has it with alcohol. That stuff gets in the way of your body's enzymes metabolizing alcohol. Because this compound is stopping your body from breaking down the wine's alcohol content, a toxin builds up in your body that can lead to flushing, headaches, and nausea. That's the idea. Anyway, they still need to do tests on this in clinical studies, big clinical studies, to properly figure out what's going on with people and figure out which step of the process is going wrong, like if people are particularly reactive to the initial compound, or if it's something about the body's enzymes being a bit more susceptible to getting blocked or something like that going on. But regardless, they think it's this compound that you get in grapes, particularly grapes that are exposed to more sunlight, like you get in reds, that causes these red wine headaches. I think the advice at the moment is still just try and avoid the wines. There's not really a treatment method.
Exactly. They're saying just avoid alcohol full stop now, aren't they, really?
Well, yes, that too.
Anyway, I'm ignoring that. There's also a glut of red wine in Australia, so yeah, maybe, yeah. Anyway, I can introduce Peta now, our friendly neighbourhood marine scientist. Finally got onto the screen.
I've surfaced.
You have surfaced.
Oh no, I'm going to do a Max and I'm not going to be able to say a word and it's going to sound really dumb. But
You tuned into 4 You tune into 4 Triple Z. The show is No Idea, your weekly dose of science. With me, Max and Peta. What do you got for us, Peta?
You know, Max, I just want to come back to before you played the intro because you often forget our names. That was the first time I've heard you forget your own name. First time ever. I think we should note that.
I'm still
Just
reeling from Jay's comment about me being a bit dumb. Yeah.
The after effects. Oh, no. He is Max.
Yes.
I am Peta.
Right.
That's who we are.
Beautiful.
Keep it in your head, Max. All right, Max, what do you think makes a fish sexy?
Oh.
What's a fish looking for in another fish?
It's fins, I reckon.
Fins? You reckon it's fins?
Yeah, I reckon.
Well, at least for guppies, we found out a little bit more. Guppies are a very, very popular aquarium fish. Have you seen them before?
Yes, I have, yes.
Yeah, they kind of look like betters or fighting fish, but they're much smaller. But they do have like the wiggly long fins, and their colours are a little bit different. They're like spotty, like leopards.
Okay.
Yeah, so a bit of an interesting looking fish. They're quite popular, very cheap, because they're easy to breed. So this research came to us from the University of British Columbia. QS ranking, please.
80.
38.
Oh, okay.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Good job. I think that's in Canada. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah.
Geography's not my thing. I never claimed that it was. And they were looking specifically at male guppies, which are the ones that have the more striking and varied colorations.
Yeah.
Essentially, they were wondering, how do the guppies remain so bright, despite that, that might actually attract predators if you're that bright,
Yeah.
So why does this genetic strain stay so strong? And essentially they were looking at like this idea of sexual selection versus natural selection. So natural selection is what doesn't get you killed. Sexual selection is what will get you laid. Cool?
Yeah, cool.
Got it?
Yeah.
So the team combined a bunch of different things, including deep learning image analysis, breeding experiments, and genetic mapping. They actually bred 3 generations of guppies to try and enhance the orange traits. And then they used machine learning to qualify the colour intensity and patterning and conducted behavioural observations to track their mating activity. What a scientific experiment. What a job.
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to conduct behavioural observations of their mating activity. Woohoo. Write it down, it's science. And then they mapped the genomic locations of their colour-related traits. That's pretty key there. So they looked at their genome and they mapped where anything related to their colour came up. But I can't tell you much more about that from their methodology because they didn't provide any details in the media release and it's not open access.
Right.
This is a reminder that science should be open access. Okay, but now let's get to what they found. So the main thing they found, and you'll be shocked, Max.
Yes.
These female fish love orange. They love orange. They think orange is just the
Sexy
sexiest colour.
Yeah.
Sexiest colour, the brighter the orange, the better. The more orange, the better. They just love orange. They found that oranger males were more virile. So more intense orange coloration males were up to twice as sexually active. Up to twice! Imagine.
Exactly.
And then they were more persistent in courtship display. So they would just continuously try and mate with the females and follow them around. They were just very focused on it. And they also were more likely to attempt what they call sneaky copulations. I'll leave it at that one. So
yes.
Orange guppies are dogs, basically.
Yeah.
And these behavioural differences, they think, show that the colour intensity is directly tied to sexual drive and performance. And so then they were like, okay, that's interesting, let's have a look into this. And they looked at their genes, and they found out that their genes responsible for orange and black pigmentation, so the orange and black spots, appear to arise from the same cell types that form their brain.
Okay. Yeah.
So in the same area on the genome.
Yeah.
And that would imply a developmental and genetic link between behaviour and appearance. So in other words, male guppies might not act sexy because they're orange. They may be orange because their brain and reproductive traits are wired together.
Yeah, preordained, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so the team identified 7 orange and 8 black colour modules that combine in countless ways across multiple chromosomes, and they found potential for over 32,000 unique patterns on these fish, which is a staggering level of individual variation for such a small fish.
Yeah.
Like, they are dedicating a huge amount of their genome to just...
reproduction,
Let me
basically.
think of another way I could look pretty. Like, crazy. So yeah, it's evolutionarily valuable to them to have these sort of like wide variation and strength of colours because it offers them resilience to environmental changes, disease, shifting predator-prey dynamics, but also clearly what they found out here, the preferences of the females and getting laid. Yeah, so it's an interesting model for studying diversity because this is exactly a trade-off between the getting killed by a predator because you're brightly coloured and everyone can see you, and getting laid. Like, they have reproduced because they've gotten super bright, and to them that's a good trade-off. That works for them. It works for this species.
Cool.
So yeah, orange, brightly coloured guppies are sexy, and it's not just because they're orange. They're orange because they're sexy.
Beautiful. 3 physicists at the Technical University of Denmark, they have ranked the types of paper that are most likely to cause a paper cut.
Oh, shut up. Really?
Yeah.
This study comes from researchers at Johns Hopkins University in the US of A. QS ranking.
Oh,
Johns Hopkins.
I'm going to go like 64.
Yeah, 24. So,
24, good for them. I know
yeah.
they've got a really good hospital. I didn't know if they had other good programs.
They described their work as a transformative advancement in surgical robotics, where robots can perform mechanical precision with human-like adaptability.
Is this the gallbladder?
And yes, it is.
This came up on my Instagram this week on New Scientist,
Yeah.
and I have beef with it because they just posted the video of the surgery. Like, there wasn't any like content when it just suddenly on my feed was a gallbladder.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't watch it because I was like, I don't want to look at someone's gallbladder. Ew.
It was done on dead pigs. So, yeah.
Oh, well, I don't want to look at a dead pig's gallbladder either. Ew.
If you want to find out more, they published their science in Science Robotics, and they've called their robot Surgical Robot Transformer Hierarchy, or SRT-H, which can perform surgery while adapting to individual anatomical features and circumstances. Simply put, it has been trained to expect the unexpected. Built with the same machine learning architecture that powers ChatGPT, SRT-H is an interactive model allowing it to respond to spoken commands. This feedback enables the robot to learn in real time.
What about the spoken command? Ah! Oh my God! There's a rodent at me.
Stop!
It's woken up.
Stop!
The anesthesia isn't working anymore.
If we go back to last year, the team used a similar learning model to train a robot to perform 3 foundational surgical procedures: manipulating a needle, lifting body tissue, and suturing. For this study, the robot was tasked with gallbladder removal, a procedure that is generally complex, involving a series of 17 steps. To perform, the SRT-H robot had to identify certain ducts and arteries, grab them precisely, carefully place clips, and sever where necessary. SRT-H learned how to do the gallbladder work by watching videos of Johns Hopkins'
Grey's
own
Anatomy.
surgeon. Yes, right. The full season.
It was trained on the millions of hours of medical dramas that exist in the world.
And then it left, performing the procedure on pig cadavers. The team of surgeons enhanced the AI visual training with text captions to accurately describe the various tasks. After watching the videos, the robot was ready to perform some gallbladder surgery on the dead pigs. Good news, their robot performed flawlessly and possessed situational awareness, even though the researchers attempted to distract it. They tampered with its starting position and added blood-like dyes to change the appearance of the gallbladder and surrounding tissues. Although the robot took longer to perform the surgery than a human equivalent, the results were comparable to an expert surgeon. Lead author G. Woon Kim says this work represents a major leap for prior efforts because it tackles some of the fundamental barriers to deploying autonomous surgical robots in the real world. Our work shows that AI models can be made reliable enough for surgical autonomy. Something
So
that...
what about when you get those AI models that learn, like, to be Nazis and stuff?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Like, what if that's happening in the back of its head? Like, we screen people doctors for this.
Trained
when
on
we have to
grok.
start screening the robot doctors?
It's right. Anyway, the team would like to train and test the system on more types of surgeries, expand its skill set to perform complete surgical operations autonomously. So I think it's pretty cool in the end. Like, if you get the best surgeons in the world posting some videos...
it's no doubt impressive.
Yeah.
Crazy robotics.
Yeah, totally. So that's it. That's my
They earned that
weird
28
science.
US ranking. Next year, watch out.
That's right.
24.
You tune into 4ZZZ, and the show is No Idea with me, Max. We have Issy in the room.
Hello.
And we've got Peta, our friendly neighbourhood marine scientist. Where's our sting for that, Peta?
Still on the way. Just know that every week it's not here, it's getting better. She's a teenager who I trust implicitly,
Yes,
but
right.
also in a teenager. So she's busy, but
Yeah.
it's happening.
Cool.
Everyone get excited.
I am.
I thought you were going to use that random thing from last week.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't
You threatened to use some other sting for me. Okay, well, that's our backup
Yeah, it's all right.
in future.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question for both of you. As your friendly neighbourhood marine scientist, Max and Issy, what do you think is the rarest colour in nature?
Blue.
Purple?
Max is right, it's blue.
Really?
Yeah.
Blue is very rare in nature. A very long time ago now, I was introduced to this absolutely incredible Radiolab podcast episode on colours. Have you heard this?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, both of you homework listening tonight is to listen to the Radiolab episode on colours. It's incredible. If you haven't listened to it, I will recap and spoil just a very small section about the colour blue. Essentially, it was like the last colour. Blue was the last colour for humans, and we didn't have a word for it for a very long time because we couldn't manufacture it. Like, you wouldn't trade the colour blue because it wasn't made by lots of people that couldn't make the colour blue because blue things didn't exist around them. There's a famous passage in Homer's, I think the Iliad, where he talks about the wine dark sea. And translators for years were like, what the hell does that mean? Like, wine is red, my guy. Like, it's a very different colour. And they kind of were talking about, like, how because they didn't have a word for it, because they couldn't manufacture it, they didn't really see it as a colour.
Oh.
Their brain didn't really process it as something different because they didn't have a word. So really crazy, interesting stuff, but generally blue is very rare in nature. Things don't naturally create blue. Obviously, the ocean is blue, the sky is blue, but that's not something, they're not creating that colour, that's a refraction and a reflection. Blue being created as a pigment, incredibly rare. See, I brought it back. We're back to blue. But blue is more common in the sea. Quite a few things are blue, actually, in the sea. But there's one fish that is very, 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 very blue, and that is the blue shark. You guys know the blue shark?
Yes.
The name gave it away.
Yeah, I know, right? You'd think, wow, they were like...
Bit on the
that's
nose.
It's a blue shark. I'm done with that one. I've often said this about marine scientists. We're not creative namers. Like, the names for many things in the ocean are just what it is. Brain coral. Looks like a brain. Done. They just, like, popped their head in and went... Yeah, well, that's that. Great. Write it down. Let's move on. Now, if you haven't seen it, the blue shark is pretty much, it looks like a generic shark. Like, a lot of these times I try and give you guys some feature about the shark that's different or new or interesting. It just looks like a blue shark. It's a bit pointier and thinner maybe than you'd think, but it's a shark.
Could you look it up, Max, for me, please?
Have you guys seen a mako shark?
No.
I call them mako.
Mako are like
Mako?
very similar
Okay.
looking sharks, but they're a bit shorter and
Yeah.
like stockier.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shark.
Yeah, it's your classic
Very
shark.
descriptive. Yeah. If I imagine a shark, that's normally what it looks like. Cool.
Exactly. There you go. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's not much point explaining it beyond that because if I say skinny, you'll imagine it's skinnier than that. If I say fat, you'll imagine it fatter than that. It's just a shark.
Yeah.
Your average everyday shark.
So it's only
And they-
only blue on top or
Well,
white
we'll get to
underneath? Okay, sorry.
So most things in the ocean have this sort of coloration where they have more colour on top than on bottom. They're darker on top than they are on the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's a form of camouflage. It's very common because remember the ocean is a 3D space, right?
Yeah.
You'll see it in birds too. Because if you're looking into the ocean, looking down into the ocean, everything is dark.
Yes.
So if you're swimming in the ocean, you want to be dark on top. And then if you're underneath something in the ocean and you're looking up towards the sky, it's bright.
Yeah.
So you want to have your underside bright and your top dark so that you blend in with your surroundings.
Yeah.
3D living, baby. So the blue shark is similar to that. It does have a bluer top and a lighter bottom. And they're pretty common. They're the most wide-ranging shark species in the world. They have been recorded in all tropical and temperate seas, from 50 degrees north to 40 degrees south, so pretty everywhere. In Australia, they've been recorded from all marine waters except for the Arafura Sea, the Gulf of Carpentaria and the Torres Strait. And I imagine those last two is probably because of some other bigger reptilian predators that they'd probably be avoiding, much like myself. So, this comes to us from some researchers in the City University of Hong Kong. QS ranking, please.
200.
436.
Wrong. The City University of Hong Kong is 63.
Oh, damn.
I think it was the City. City University threw me off. I was like, oh, well, that's like adding a tech in there, you know?
That's right.
Man. But they were interested in this idea of blue being very rare, and they wanted to see, like, how they make blue, and they want to see the mechanisms that animals use to produce the blue can often be very highly specialized and poorly understood, especially in things like sharks, because they're a cartilaginous fish. Like, it's a weird plus. So they were like, let's just have a look at this blue pigment in these sharks, and they want to know what caused it, whether the coloration is just a pigment or something else, and if anything else responsible, like if it has any functional or adaptive significance. So the first thing they wanted to do is actually wanted to look at the whole shark. Like, they got a whole shark and they were like, let's see if we can figure out what makes it so blue. But they couldn't. And so then they were like, okay, let's look at this section of the shark and see what makes it blue. And they couldn't. And then they got smaller and smaller and smaller until they were looking within denticles. So if you remember denticles, does anyone remember what denticles are? I mentioned these a couple times.
On the skin.
Yeah, they're essentially
makes them go
scales.
fast.
They're similar things to scales, but on sharks.
Yeah.
So shark's skin is made out of denticles. They look kind of like teeth, like little tooth-shaped scales. And they have this special property that in one direction they're very, very, very smooth. In another direction, very, very rough. So it helps them move fast through the water and a bunch of other things. And so the team used a combination of advanced anatomical imaging and modeling techniques to study these denticles at multiple scales. So like I said, they started from meters and then they ended up in nanometers. They just kept going deeper. So they dissected and analysed these dermal denticles, and they used optical and electron microscopy to examine fine skin structures. So, and then with that, they also used spectroscopy. Does anyone know what spectroscopy is?
Yeah, chemical makeup.
Kind of, yeah. So I did this in, it is chemical makeup, but you use light to figure it out.
Yes, yeah.
So you do this in chemistry. Sometimes you'll shoot light at something and then the light it shoots out the other side, you can kind of tell what it's made up of. And then they also did some computational simulations, which everyone does nowadays, to sort of figure out how what they found influences stuff. So what did they find? Well, they found out the critical thing is that the blue colour is not just pigments. There are some pigments, but they will have nanostructures inside the pulp cavity of their denticles that is 3D. So the way the researchers describe them is that they have essentially within the denticles little cells, or they say bags, like imagine a little bag filled with mirrors right next to a little bag filled with black light absorbers.
Right, okay.
So the mirrors are the guanine crystals, and they reflect blue wavelengths really, really accurately. They just blue. And then they have these things called melanosomes, which are dark pigment vesicles, which absorb any other light, which enhance the saturation. And they found that these components are packed in separate but adjacent cells. So the two little bags are right next to each other, and they work together to fine-tune their coloration, right?
Pretty well.
And then they found that essentially these things change. Like the reason they're in two separate bags is because then they can affect their coloration. And one of the ways they do this is in spacing. They figured out that if the space between these two bags changes, it can alter the reflected colour of the shark.
Yeah.
So if the two bags are really close together, they're super blue, very, very bright blue. But if they're wider apart, they go to this green or gold colour instead. It's not as brightly blue. Super exciting. And they think this system of movement allows subtle changes that they think are driven by pressure or humidity. Because they did, like I said, they did these computations. They were trying to see, like, you know, how do these bags react to pressure? How do these bags react to humidity? How do these bags react to, like, all these different things? How do the scales react? And they found that under high pressure, so let's say when they're on a deep dive, because they do that sometimes, the bags move further apart. And so the sharks lose a lot of that bright blue colouring, which actually would make them appear more dark. So they go to the dark ocean and they themselves become dark.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, Max's just yep wasn't really what I was looking
No,
for. I was like, yeah,
I was trying to process all of it. I was like,
reading
nah,
something
that's
else,
I was like, yeah, all right, no, that's fine. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
nothing special.
Yeah.
No, that's sick.
I think it's really sick.
Yeah.
And they think that essentially it's not like, you know how when we talk about octopuses changing colour, that's very much like, it may not be conscious, but it's very much a brain-driven thing. They see their surroundings, they try and match their surroundings, or they're trying to do something with their colour. They think that this is completely separate to, like, it's not a brain thing, they're not trying to do it, it's just built into them, like it's part of their body, is that when they go in different areas or under different conditions, their body will naturally react to look different.
Wow.
So, crazy. And they also think that they evolved this completely independently of bony fish. So this was like since sharks were, which is a long time ago now, don't get me wrong, like hundreds of millions of years. But like that once they split from bony fish, sharks were like, oh, we got these cool new cells we're going to create called denticles. And they're not only going to make us faster and sleeker and give us all these other, like, and stop us from having things grow on us, we're also going to give them colour-changing properties.
Yeah.
Or at least for these blue sharks.
Yeah.
So that's, in my opinion, the research could stop there. That's really interesting. It's super cool. I'd love to see what other sharks might have this. They call it a biostructural pigmentation, rather, because it's not just a pigment. It's like a structure that gives you a pigment or gives you a colour. But they think that this is a really good idea to keep researching so that they could create structural colorants, which would be an alternative to chemical dyes. So, like, imagine if our clothing, instead of having one colour dye, had multiple different shapes, I guess, like geometric stuff.
Yeah.
And they think it'd be really good for, I don't know, like the military and, you know, the things they usually want it for, to make things change colours.
They're the ones
But for
investing
me-
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't know who invested in this one, but I'm sure once they read this, they will do.
That's right.
But for me, I think it's really cool that sharks have this, like, passive colour changing within them, and seeing, like, why. I'd love to see why they do it and how many do it, and, like, I'd love to see the actual difference in the colour of the shark. Like, if they could model that and show us, like, how green is green. Like, I've seen them in the regular water, they're pretty blue, so
Yeah.
I'd love to see them not blue. Yeah, it's crazy.
Dave texted in, he says, is it like transition glasses?
Oh, I actually don't know how they work, so I can't say for sure, but I imagine the effect would be very similar, yes.
When you're talking about blue pigment, I thought you were talking about this research that came out of Washington State University recently, where they reinvented the Egyptian blue, which the ancient Egyptians used to use. It's the oldest known synthetic pigment. And they made it up through a mixture of silica, lime, copper, and alkali. And then when the Romans invaded, they took the blue pigment with them. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The Romans just...
And then
couldn't help
the recipe
themselves
was
with
lost for a while, and now they've recreated
Yeah,
it.
then when they burnt down the Library of Alexandria.
That probably had it.
That's right.
No, that's
Still
super
not over
cool.
that.
Yeah. Okay, I've got no segue, but...
If you can't tell, Gabe's not here.
Wonderful.
So it will be shoehorned in.
It's right. If you want to subscribe to this wonderful radio station, you can do so by going to our website at 4zzz.org.au/support. You can subscribe for as little as $25 if you're under 18, or a pet concession, $40. A full is $80, a passionate is $140, and a super sub, get your name written downstairs on the wall. For $500, there's also a prize for this month. You go into the running for the non-mixed 6-stopper pack, which, Peter, you were happy to get into.
I really like this.
Yeah.
I really want to buy some. It looks amazing.
So you can get the non-1 salted raspberry and chamomile, non-2 the caramelised pear and kombu. Is it kombu?
Kombu.
Yeah.
Kombu. It's a type of kelp.
Right.
Yum.
Non-3 is toasted cinnamon and yuzu.
Yuzu. That is a
Yuzu.
type of citrus. It's delicious.
Like typically Japanese. Yeah.
Right,
a
okay.
lovely-
Yeah, we'll just keep going through these, right? So we'll see how many of these fruits you know. Yeah. How many of the ingredients we've got on your list?
Non-5 is lemon, marmalade and hibiscus.
Those three.
And then we go to non-7, stewed cherry and coffee. Non-9 is oat, blackberry and plum. An award-winning non-stopper that keeps bottles fresh for up to 7 days.
And if you couldn't tell, non is non-alcoholic.
Yes, exactly.
So it can be enjoyed by everyone. So I can have all 6 bottles. Yeah, back to back to back. One night. And I'll feel fantastic.
That's right. Non was founded by Aaron Trotman, a foodie on a mission to shape the future of non-alcoholic drinks. The drinks are all made in-house by a team of expert food and drink professionals in a purpose-built facility. Non is an intricate balancing act of flavour built from scratch with key notes of floral, tannin, salinity and acidity and a bold minimalist design.
Exciting.
Job done.
All that when you subscribe to 4ZZZ.
Yeah.
4ZZZ.org.au/support. If you haven't done it already, what are you doing? Why are you listening to us if you aren't supporting us on air when we're giving you all these fun little doses of science?
And if you subscribe during our show, you get to hear this.
We are not a cruelty-free show. That is true, though. That's our guarantee. If you subscribe during our show, we will play the harp seal, or Max will play the harp seal.
Exactly.
Maybe not immediately, but at some point during the show when we see it. So if you time it really well, it would be quite funny.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd like it to happen at really key moments during the show. Especially if Max is talking.
And it's time for with me, Maximillian, and Issy.
Okay, it's time for the best part of the show. Loosely defined as science, yeah, you already know. Everybody listens to 4ZZZ just to hear us talking about what Butters just did. Subscriptions just keep rolling like the tires on a car. But something tells me that our science curves won't go far. But unlike an engine, I won't keep you in suspension. We're all here to hear him talk, so let's give him attention. You're not ready for when he starts rapping. Gonna hand the mic to Max, and I'm not talking Van Stappen.
Now, we've been thinking that No Idea should be an afternoon drive show, really, because we would have got this news last week, Wednesday.
Yeah.
But we missed out. We're talking about Formula One here. Maxie, tell us what happened last Wednesday afternoon.
Well, it was, let's say it's a bit more in the evening, but the news broke that Red Bull's team principal and CEO, Christian Horner, was relieved of his position after over 20 years in said role.
Yeah.
And it was sort of a bit of where there's smoke, there's fire. It was like for 1.5 years, his job was maybe in a little bit of jeopardy. And the sort of Austrian faction of Red Bull, for those who don't know, Red Bull is a conglomerate made up of effectively a Thai faction that owns 51% and an Austrian faction that owns 49% and controls majority of the marketing stuff. And they want to control the F1 team. The Thai side backed Christian Horner up until basically a week ago.
Yes, because they sold 2% of their shares.
Well, we don't know
people.
that.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it got put into a holding thing, but it's probably still owned by them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just a coincidence. I don't think that's necessarily it. I think he actually lost their support, which is
Yeah, as a comm student, I feel like the lack of clarity about what has happened and specifically, hello, subscriber. Christian Horner. I feel like the lack of, reasoning or direct reason has a lot of people within kind of the F1 community pointing fingers at certain things. And due to that lack of direction, it could be anything. And I think a lot of people were pointing towards Max Verstappen potentially changing seats as an idea of maybe Christian Horner releasing grip on their best driver. Also it could be a variety of factors. And that's the thing. When this was, I remember seeing the headline and it was immediate. As soon as physically possible.
But he's still being paid by them. He's just been moved aside. That's all. Yeah.
So it's sort of gardening leave. Is what we'd term it.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that they had no PR people actually on the ground in England at Milton Keynes, the Red Bull campus, and it was all being headed up by the Austrian Red Bull
faction
employees, which is as you say, so weird from a comms perspective.
Because you typically want, because of X, this is Y.
Yeah.
You don't want Y is now happening
we don't know why.
Yeah, you want
and
more
because that
transparency, yeah.
also doesn't bring a lot of good PR either. I have seen only one thing I'll comment is we may see the Spice Girls coming back for another tour if Christian Horner has been now let go. So that might be something to look forward to.
To cushion the fall.
Yes, if you don't know, he is married to Ginger Spice.
Yeah, Ginger
so
Spice. Yeah, exactly.
maybe.
And there's a possible job.
We're hoping to still see her on the grid, though, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's
hopefully.
Right. And if he does actually get let go by Red Bull, there are other jobs in the paddock that he could potentially go to.
Snap him up.
Yeah, with his 20 years of experience.
So I think
and winning experience too. So
yeah, I mean, he's built that operation basically up twice.
Yeah.
I mean, they had those wilderness years after the 2014 regs.
Yeah.
Where they weren't really anywhere, but they're still in the fight, and they got operationally very tight, like the pit stops, the strategy, etc. So I mean,
whatever Mercedes wasn't doing, they would be doing type thing, just to try and get some sort of hold on the title, which they did eventually. So
yeah, but finally broke even before Abu Dhabi 21.
There might have been a safety car issue, but that's all right.
And a certain Australian and the racing gods. And, yeah. But so what? The current rumours are Alpine are interested.
Yes, 100%. Because they're going to be called Renault next year, so it'd be a great reset for them to say, "Oh, we're like a new team now. We're Renault now. Let's go for let's try and win a world championship."
And Enstone's not that far, is it, from Milton Keynes?
Yeah, it's based in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, at least I mean it's less of a drive than over to Maranello,
True.
Which was the other rumor, that Ferrari were inquiring about his services actually before he got relieved at Red Bull. So I mean, it's all to play for, I think.
It is.
And a bit of a mistake by Red Bull here.
Possibly.
Unless they know something we don't, but it just seems so odd from the outside.
Supercars happened on the weekend. It was in Townsville. It was round 7, consisting of 3 races, number 20, 21 and 22. Race 20 saw Brody Kostecki beat home Cam Waters and Anton De Pasquale. Race 21, Brock Feeney was back to his winning ways. Chaz Mostert was second and Matthew Payne third. And the final race for the weekend, race 22, was also won by Brock Feeney. And his teammate Will Brown came home second and Chaz Mostert third. So not a bad weekend for Chaz Mostert when you think about it, but it was Brock Feeney's weekend. He leads the championship with over 200 points compared to whoever's in second. NASCAR... I think it's Will Brown.
Whoever's in second.
Whoever.
NASCAR happened on the weekend. This is the races I was watching. There were 2 races to look for, Xfinity and the Cup. And, of course, Australian adjacent SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen. He was racing in both categories, and he didn't win both. No, he let his teammate win the first one at Sonoma Raceway, which is a road circuit, by the way, not an oval. This is where Shane Van Gisbergen shines. They're almost calling him the best of all time already. And he's sort of just at the start. Yeah, he's just the start of his road course, cups thing, whatever. And but in the cup race, he took no prisoners. He never looked like he was going to lose the race. It was amazing how tyres were an issue over there. It's a bit like Formula One in that respect. The tyres fall off pretty quickly. So, yeah, that was exciting to watch. There was one person who came in when there was another safety car, came in for new tyres, was passing everyone. Nice. But Shane had enough gap to make sure he won the race. So, yeah, he's now won 3 races this year, which is pretty good. And this is his rookie season.
Oh, wow.
So he equals the best in doing that. And if he wins again at Watkins Glen, there'll be 4 race wins, which will be he'll be the best rookie ever.
Nice.
MotoGP happened on the weekend. It was in Germany. Once again, it was another Ducati podium lockout with brothers Marc and Alex Marquez first and second, with Francisco Bagnaia third. Aussie Jack Miller finished in the top 10, coming home in 8th on his Yamaha. And interestingly, all 5 MotoGP manufacturers were represented in the top 10. Aprilia, Ducati, Honda, KTM and Yamaha. But to be a rider in this race, you had to finish in the top 10 because all the other drivers fell over.
Oh.
So only 10 finished.
Interesting.
WEC, or World Endurance Championship, happened on the weekend also. The 6-hour race in Brazil saw Cadillac finish 1-2. And we know Cadillac's joining F1 next year.
Very exciting.
So they're starting to win the hyperclass of the WEC, and they beat home Porsche. So it was a Cadillac 1-2, and let's hope this sort of carries over to F1. The cars, unfortunately, will be, well, not unfortunately, but the cars won't be powered by their own engine, unfortunately. The cars will be powered by Ferrari for the first few years.
So hopefully Ferrari engine, but not Ferrari strategy.
No. Or chassis.
Yeah.
Okay, Sail GP is on this week in Portsmouth in the UK. Team Australia is currently second in this year's championship, sandwiched between Spain and New Zealand. Let's hope Tom Slingsby and crew can get us back on top with a race win in the regatta. And the F1 driver market, what are we thinking, Cadillac? What drivers are they going to be getting, you reckon?
Well, I'm echoing what I said last week, which was, I know this is pulling straws, but surely Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, you're playing hard to
I'm
get.
allowed to be a little delusional. But even third driver, I don't care. I just want to see him back in pro race.
And Drives to Survive. Netflix
Yes,
will give him money.
surely, yes.
We'll pay the ticket.
Well, it sounds like the second seat is still all to play for, but the primary seat at Cadillac sounds like it's a lock for Sergio Perez.
Oh, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, good to see him back on the grid, I think. And I mean, the other interesting thing about Red Bull this year is, have we been talking about Yuki Tsunoda that much?
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah. So I don't think he was doing that bad a job in hindsight. You know what I mean?
It is.
The car's got a few deficiencies that are now being made clear, even in Verstappen's performance. So, be good to see him being able to continue his career at Cadillac. And they need an experienced driver, right, to be able to build up.
Yeah, that's why I still reckon Bottas is the person.
I was going to say, if they want experience, then you might as well pull from the grid people who have kind of are no longer maybe racing per se, but do have a plethora of experience just to get those good foundations.
Because when he was in a top tier team, which was Mercedes, and when they were doing their winning ways, if Hamilton wasn't winning the race, it was Bottas.
Yeah, and he has the longest Q3 streak of any driver.
Right,
He's always at the pointy end of qualifying.
Yeah, there you
go. During his time at Mercedes. It sounds like he's going to Alpine. That seems to be the really firm thing. And I think that's then why Cadillac has, very much opted for Perez there.
Fair enough.
The other one we're hearing is Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
Will still maintain his Racing Bull seat for next year.
Oh, that's good.
Where it does then get up in the air is, where's Max Verstappen going? Where's Yuki Tsunoda going? Where's Hadjar going? Because it sounds like Arvid Blood is actually going to Racing Bulls to partner Liam Lawson.
Okay.
So that's a Red Bull Junior that's coming through the ranks.
So Hadjar
at pace.
Hadjar to second seat of Red Bull.
It sounds that way, but we don't know who's in the first seat.
True. I'm just assuming Max is staying around.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, why is Horner... I was assuming Horner was staying around too.
True.
Yeah. It is like a Lewis Hamilton almost echo of just like... At least he was direct. He was like, I want to drive in a Ferrari. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen could have the entire grid at his disposal.
Yes,
but
he could end up at Aston Martin.
He could end... Yeah, fully. If he wanted a cushy seat, a safe seat as well, because don't forget, he's got another kid now. So he could really dictate where the grid lines up. So we're really at Max Verstappen's beck and call at the moment. But it's good to hear Liam Lawson is sticking around in his seat, because that poor rookie, he has just had an unfortunate streak of not being comfortable in the car, not having enough experience in the car. So that is great to hear another Aussie on the grid.
And Max might even take a year off.
Adjacent.
Australian, yes.
Max might even take a year off.
Yeah, honestly.
Race in World Endurance Championship.
Because he's been doing really well as well.
GT3 class,
Like Alonso.
Yeah, like Alonso.
Like Alonso.
Yeah. Until the 2026 regs sort themselves out of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Might as well just skip the kind of training wheel phase and just take a year off.
So no F1 this weekend. It'll be the following weekend.
It's following, is it?
Yeah. So where's it? It's not Dutch, is it? Where are we going? Spa. Yeah, Spa.
Yeah, of course.
My favourite
racetrack.
racetrack.
Far off with Dutch.
And it'll be a sprint weekend too.
Yes, it will.
So that'll be good to see.
We'll come back with a lot more content.
Yeah, we'll speak about that next week. We're going to talk. We went and saw the movie, didn't we, Max? The F1 movie on Sunday night.
Yes.
So we're going to get Peta in the room to get their thoughts on the
pull our weight and not just be a drag on the 4ZZZ engine, you know, and do and
Is that pointing to any part of the show specifically?
no names named.
FIA approved, by the way.
Yeah.
You tune into 4ZZZ, and the show is No Idea with me. Me, man, on 4ZZZ.
What's your name?
What's your name, Max? Yet again. Come again? Time today.
Max, Issy, Maximillian, and Peta. And we're going to discuss the F1 movie because we went and saw it on the weekend. And I've just written, it doesn't suck.
I love it. Sorry, you were
That's
like,
good
we're going
stuff.
to discuss this movie because we saw it on the weekend. Issy, have you seen it?
No, I have not seen it.
Yeah.
Neither have I.
So about half of the crew today have not seen it, but go ahead.
That's the Maxes.
The Maxes have seen it. Okay.
If you're new to F1, definitely go and see it. It's a step above Drive to Survive. But if you're not...
I'm new to F1. I'm not going to go see it.
Wow.
But
The
if
reviews are in.
It nearly got me because it's got Ray on one of the soundtracks, but then I realised I can just listen to Ray. I don't need to support the movie.
I reckon Brad Pitt's character, his ability is a bit touch exaggerated. If he's on four wheels, Brad's character is able to do amazing things, apparently. He can extract the maximum from the get-go.
But I mean, it's just as we were discussing before. Like, I kind of half believe it because he's just like super Alonso. You know, like Hollywood, supersized Alonso, jumping around from category to category.
Yeah.
So not like super unrealistic, but what is unrealistic is the fact that he get his super license. Like, it's like, you want to come back to Formula One? Hell yeah. and he's there in the paddock. I don't know.
I did see one review that said that the movie is akin to, and I don't know if anyone else remembers this movie, Racing Stripes, with the racing zebra.
What?
I can't remember if it's a Disney Channel original movie or if it's just one of those old kids movies, and it's about a zebra who really wants to be a racehorse.
That's right.
And Brad Pitt is the jockey.
Is he?
Yeah. It's the same movie, my guy, except better.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I'm going to get up you guys talk about this movie. Obviously, I have very little to add to that. I'm going to tell you about Racing Stripes once I've got it up.
Fair enough. Well, once we see him jockeying a modern F1 car, we get to see this other side of his character.
Yeah.
Where he's actually got this sort of tactician going on.
He's
being
able
to like dictate the race from his own car to help his teammate out.
Yes. So he's all about his teammate, and he wants to make his teammate better than he is currently. Isn't that the sort of the overriding theme of the thing?
And that's exactly why Javier Bardem's character brings him into the fold, because he needs that experience. He is the Sergio Perez going to Cadillac type thing.
And it's done by the same director that did Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah,
so
Joe Kosinski.
Yeah, so a similar sort of vibe to that. Have you seen Maverick? Have you seen that? Top Gun Maverick?
No.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Okay.
Neither.
What I will say about Top Gun Maverick is, like, regardless of what you think of the military-industrial complex, that thing is a technical achievement, and F1 is no different to that.
Yeah.
Like, the stuff that they're doing in terms of, like, the painting over, like, in Maverick's case, it's real-life planes that they had to paint over, because, I mean, unless you're going to call up the Iranians, you can't get an F-14. But what they did here in terms of taking, like, real race footage and putting Brad Pitt over the top of it, and also they did some filming with, like, an F2 car that was, like, bulked out by Mercedes Applied Technologies, like, had the real aerodynamics of a Formula One car, including the floor.
Yeah.
As, like, an actual, aerodynamic member of the car.
Exactly.
And okay, so there's a slight spoiler there.
Yeah, we shouldn't give this one away, I think.
I reckon we should. Well, look, it's an upgrade package. I mean, these things happen in Formula One. It happens in the film. There's an upgrade package, and it made the real life car faster.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Like, it was a
filming.
literal upgrade package.
I was wrong, by the way. It wasn't Brad Pitt. Racing Stripes, some other white guy. Some other medium-aged white guy. Did not recognise who he is. But it's circus zebra who was accidentally abandoned in Kentucky, raised by a local family who train racehorses, and Stripes the zebra believes he is a racehorse and dreams of training for and competing in the Kentucky Derby. And if you were worried this doesn't have Brad Pitt in it, never fear, it does have Snoop Dogg.
Oh, that's so good.
Honestly, my takeaway from this is I want to rewatch Racing Stripes and not watch F1.
Fair enough.
What a brutal review.
And it had some good cameos in the movie as well, like the drivers and Gunther
Yeah, it doesn't have
Steiner.
the whole grid.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah, because you see them
2023
lining up
grid,
for the national anthem and stuff like that. So
It was
that's
like the
all fun.
Eurovision movie. They had like all these stars in there. It was incredible.
Now, I do have to ask, and to no surprise, this is a Formula One movie, so there will be a crash.
Yes.
I have seen leaked footage of said crash.
Yes.
And the effects that they used. Was that a genuine? How do we feel about that?
Oh, was it?
Oh, you mean like the
The spinning in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a touch much.
Yes.
I mean, it was probably modelled more on like there was an F3 crash that was similar, but it didn't quite end the same. Where like a sausage curb, like when it set a car vertical, over the catch fencing at Monza. Yeah, so they've taken the very specific. Okay, that's spoiler territory. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it is spoiler territory. I just did have to ask, especially for you two who are quite knowledgeable. Have we seen something like that before? And yeah, good to know it's somewhat based in realism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt you. For a real F1 car, like it's probably a bit too heavy.
I mean, I'm sure in Cars 2 or 3 something.
I was about to say that was the other thing that was commonly referred to was the Cars franchise.
Really?
Which is an incredible franchise.
Yes.
Did Lewis Hamilton have a cameo in that?
Yes, and Sebastian Vettel. And there was one other, was Fernando as well, in all the different
the
languages.
One where they were spies.
Yes.
I loved that one.
Where they clued into, they were like Lewis, and they had verbal lines in each of different language, which was quite cool.
What car were they though? That's the real question.
It was just a spoken line, yeah. But true, were they Formula One cars?
Yeah. What cars were they?
Close enough.
Anyway, we're completely derailing this review.
Oh, no, it's
That's
just
exactly why I'm here.
Yes.
Max asked me to be here, and I decided that was my place in this conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, and they took a real life crash as part of Brad Pitt's backstory as well. As part of his characters, it was like Martin Donnelly, right? And then they've sort of taken his real life story, but said like, well, what if he was one American and two, would
How
actually
can we
come
make him
back
a little
before.
worse? What if we
right.
made him American?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No, but some really great performances in the film. I mean, we like we're a fan of Tobias Menzies, aren't we? The two Maxes are.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Night Manager?
Yeah, the Halo.
No.
Yeah, you gotta-
and it was so confusing. You were calling him Halo as we were walking out. I'm like, who? What? Oh, you mean Tobias,
From
right?
the
okay.
Night Manager. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, an absolute standout performance from Kerry Condon as well as the fictional Apex Grand Prix team's technical director, basically their Adrian Newey, if you will.
Yeah.
And I mean, absolute incredible performance from her. But yeah, they had this like. There are some times where the film, I mean, like we'll take that crash moment as one of them, but where the film sort of escapes reality a bit. But one of the things that always brings it back is this sort of, it's a certain brand of authenticity where, like, you'll look at a character's lanyard in the paddock, and it's like literally the right lanyard to be in that area, and just those real sort of like just almost neurotic like attention to detail. That just permeates the whole thing. That really just, I mean, I think it goes a long way to the overall immersion of it. And if you focus more on those details than some of the more outlandish plot points,
Storyline.
you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, so either way, we reckon, fan or not, you won't be disappointed. So,
That's for sure.
Yeah. But we probably won't go see it a second time in the big cinema. We'll just wait for it to come streaming soon.
It's a long film.
It's a long film, yeah.
Well, maybe instead of seeing it again, you could just watch Racing Stripes.
Or just
Or
watch
Cars.
Formula One.
Or Cars.
Yeah, Formula One next weekend, maybe. That'd be great.
That's close enough. What do you got for us, Izzy?
I have an interesting study. Have we ever, I presume we've all attended concerts or performances where we feel quite
Yes.
connected to the crowd. There's often a term called like post-concert depression, where it's typically when you're looking forward to an event, and then it happens, you kind of have this major slump.
Yeah, emotional roller coaster.
roller
To
coaster.
the crowd. I don't think I've ever felt connection to the crowd before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What about when you went to Taylor Swift's concert?
Or Billie Eilish?
I
I
would say, okay.
can experienced it.
I love concerts. I love going to concerts. But to me, it's not the crowd I'm connecting to. I think Taylor Swift was probably one of the exceptions because that was 96,000 people. But it wasn't so much me being like, I love being with all these people. It's like, wow, this is a lot of people.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Very
I
much
think-
like, oh my God, this is so many people. But I don't think I've ever felt like, oh, I'm so happy I'm here and connecting with people. Most of the time I'm like, they're too close to me. Oh my God, that person's tall. I can't see anything.
Yes, I feel
stop
like
stepping on me.
I feel like there's a certain threshold. There's like an axis of people to, I guess, how much you would like the artist, and there's a certain point where it becomes there's too many people, and I don't like the artist this much to warrant it.
Yeah.
This study isn't about that.
Right.
This study from the University College of London QS ranking.
Oh, they're pretty low. 8.
Like 2?
Max is closer, 9. And this was published in the scientific journal iScience. This study examined how connected we feel during live performances. In this case, dance. This can be reflected in our brain activity. And they've done it in a really interesting way. They found...
The performances of dance or we're dancing?
Performances of dance. So watching a dance performance. Okay. They fitted 59 audience members with EEGs or electroencephalograms. Nailed that. I had to look up the pronunciation. Headsets, which track electronic activity in the brain, commonly used for sleep studies or any sort of just kind of general scientific studies. They looked at audience members who were watching a live performance of a live contemporary dance. And in those live shows, the audience members' brains synchronized with the delta band, which is a range of slow-frequency brainwaves typically associated with mind wandering and social processing. The synchronization was especially strong when performers made direct eye contact with the crowd, which is really interesting, a really strong sense of kind of connection with the performance and the live members. They also fitted another group of audience members who were watching it through a TV and found that there was a much lower... Alone. Yeah, just watching this dance on their own. They found that there was low synchronization with...
Of course,
with their brainwaves, there was a low sense of connection as well.
So it wasn't just the rhythm?
It wasn't just the rhythm. It wasn't just being in the same room. It wasn't just the movement or the music that was playing. It was actually a complete lack of connection with the performances. The researchers say that the results suggested sharing the moment with others or social liveness may be as important as the performance itself. They also had a chat with a choreographer for this live performance who gave estimates of when they think connection would be the strongest. So in moments where the crowd was, when performers were looking directly at the crowd, and as seen in the results, they were pretty much dead on. So obviously with any sociology study, it's going to be quite hard to fit how many people at the Taylor Swift concert? A couple thousand people? 96,000 with EEG machines to get that sense of connection. But I think
amount of people.
A high amount of people. But I think it's really interesting as someone who went clubbing over the weekend, seeing how being a dancer or dancing amongst other people, how that can be reflected as well. So I think this is super interesting and
I would definitely say for my thing when I'm saying like I don't feel connected to the crowd, that changes if people around me are dancing. One of the things I hate about going to live concerts nowadays is that no one's dancing.
Or you're watching a concert.
Oh yeah, they're just watching or like filming.
Or watching it through a phone is probably one of the most depressing things ever. But I also wanted to think, what about protests as well? Because I've been to a fair few where you feel quite connected to a crowd because you're all there for similar reasons, similar values. Does that also synchronize together when you're quite compelled by speeches or dances and things? So I think this is a really interesting study and kind of beautiful, honestly. It's one of those moments where science is actually kind of gives us an insight into a little bit of humanity as well. So that's my kind of fun science. So maybe get out there, watch a live performance.
Go to a concert.
Don't watch it
through your phone.
Yep.
Connect with the people around you.
Go see the F1 movie.
Don't dance as hard as I do.
That's the other thing, like cinema as well. I was wondering, surely you could hook up a bunch of cinema goers to EEG machines and have a look and see.
That's the same because you're separated quite significantly.
And I wonder as well if you're going to the movies as opposed to just watching a live performance and being like, oh, I wonder if FOMO plays a large role in it, like not being in the audience. But if you're watching a movie that is quite compelling, surely you'd see some similar kind of averaging. So an interesting study that we could definitely build upon if you go see the F1 movie, apparently, to Max.
We had a text in from Terry. He says the F1 movie was Brad Pitt reliving his Thelma and Louise role. And FYI, it's got to be a bit of free advice for you. When at a gig, just take one photo and put your phone away, please.
Mate, I'm sorry. We're derailing. pet peeve is watching concerts through other people's phones.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I loved seeing Billie Eilish because she is such an interactive performer. But oh my God, I nearly grabbed the shoulders of the person in front of me and I was like, put your iPhone Max down because I want to be able to watch. Anyway.
Especially when she was saying, what am I made for? And she's like, in this bit where she's like, I wasn't ideal, I wasn't real. And I was watching on the screen because it was in a different part of the thing. She was singing to phones. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys, come on. At least for this song, leave her alone.
And performers have started tackling people where they're like, put the phone down and actually talk to me. Because anyway, Terry, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Take the single photo and just enjoy the show. Or a little video. That's it. I do not need to see the entire concert on your story.
You tuned in 4ZZZ. It's time for a bit of this. No idea. Space. MSR, which is the Martian Sample Return Mission. As NASA's future budget steadily shrinks year on year, it seems the Mars Sample Return Mission will probably never happen. The current estimate is $7 billion. My thoughts go out to poor Perseverance, which has been diligently filling up titanium tubes with rock samples ready to be collected, but never, say never, Lockheed Martin has come forward and offered to do the mission on NASA's behalf. The company says they will do it for a fixed price of just $3 billion. The plan is to make the Lockheed lander touchdown on Mars and get the payload transferred from Perseverance rover. The tubes will then be stuffed into a rocket known as the Mars Ascent Vehicle, which will launch to Martian orbit and transfer the samples to Earth entry system that will bring the rocks to Earth. So I say good luck with that. My suggestion is to get JPL's Harvard Grip. Do you remember Harvard Grip at all?
No, can you cast our mind back?
Well, I can say how many flights little Ingenuity did.
Oh, yes.
It was more than this.
69.
It is.
It is?
It is. It was 72 flights, and that equated to about 2 hours of flight time on the Mars in the Mars atmosphere. And the thing was that Harvard Grip managed to do this with a budget of just under $100 million. So I'm thinking, and it was only meant to fly 5 times. So extrapolating from this success, I'm thinking Harvard Grip could probably do the whole thing for a little under $1 billion. Just saying. X-59, this is NASA's future for quiet supersonic travel, and it comes in the form of this plane called the X-59. The actual aircraft, built by Lockheed Martin, no less, is a little over 30 metres long and has a wingspan of 9 metres. NASA has just completed a 3rd round of testing in the JAXA wind tunnel. Unfortunately, the tunnel is only 1 metre long. So researchers used a model scaled to just 1
metre?
Yeah, 1 metre.
So it's a bit difficult to get a 30-metre plane in there.
So they used a scaled model, 1.62% of the actual aircraft. And so they came in at about a half a metre, 50 centimetres from nose to tail. They exposed it to conditions mimicking the X-plane's planned supersonic cruising speed of
So they played
Mach
with models.
1.4, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're hoping the data gathered from the latest test will be applied to the actual aircraft, which is expected to fly later this year. So that'd be good. And finally, Starliner. This is Boeing's answer to SpaceX's Crew Dragon. Starliner famously left behind its 2 not stranded astronauts on the ISS last year. If there is a future for Starliner, NASA reckons it will probably only certify it to carry freight and not humans.
Oh.
So
That's great for the humans that flew on it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, great. Love to know that was safe.
Exactly. I guess you've been listening to No Idea this week, and I guess I better sign us out.
Oh, yeah, it's time to go.
It's time to go.
It's time to leave.
It's time to leave.
We usually have Gabe telling us a story, but thanks, Issy, for your story on...
Yeah, what was it?
Gabe usually makes
emotional
a wonderful wrap-up of all our stories. If you can't have forgotten his own name and everything we've talked about.
Thank you, Max, for your weird story about the Dr. Robot.
Yes.
Thanks, Peter, for the blue shark story. That was good.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I forgot what your weird was, though, Peter. What was your weird?
It's about sexy fish.
It's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
From now until next week, I'm going to try and be Gabe for a second.
Yeah.
Keep your fish sexy.
Yeah.
Your robots removing gallbladders.
Yeah.
And go to a concert and experience the delta waves.
That's right. So you can all align your brain rhythms together.
And if you want to hear any more of this, we've got a podcast as well. Anywhere you get your podcast. So
you can hear better than this, to be fair.
Yes.
Yeah. Toby makes us sound way better.
He does.
And we'll speak to you next week.
See ya.
I'm a goddamn marvel of modern science.